Welcome back, everyone, to Light Talk, where the paranormal and the supernatural is an everyday part of our lives. If you have a story you would like to share with us, email me at lighttalk423 at gmail.com. And while you're at it, click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons down below. Real quick, I just want to throw out there, I am doing my first expo in June at the ranch in Loveland, Colorado, and that is Father's Day weekend, which is June 14th and 15th. And I just want to throw it out there and asking anyone to stop by and come see me. And I will be doing card reads and I am doing photo reads. So stop by and see me. So I want to welcome back our guest today. We've had some people wanting to know a little bit more about Kundalini, so she's going to be talking with us about that. So, welcome back.
Hi there. How are you? I am Andena Melchizedek. That's the name I go by now. It was something a little bit different the last time I came on, but that speaks to the evolution of us, and I've evolved since our last our last chat.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I think you've had three names now since I've known you. And I
Yeah.
think this is awesome. I think that it's great that you're able to, evolve like you are. And you're so inspiring. I'll just say that. You're just so inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, of course. So, can you explain a little bit about some of the Kundalinis that you've had and what happens and how do you feel? You just talk about this.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question first. What is your
Oh boy.
perspective of a Kundalini?
I have had different thoughts about it. I've had some people say that it's just a lot of energy that goes through, and I've had people say that it feels um, better than sex, having an orgasm. It's just different things. So I don't feel like I've had one yet. So I am curious myself as to
Okay.
what to expect.
Yeah, okay. So this if from I'm speaking from my perspective. I'm not going to align with any doctrine or any of that stuff. I'm just going to give you my perspective of what that is and what my experience has been with it. I don't perceive it as an event. I think it's something that's happening all the time. So, Kundalini, from my perspective, just speaks to the movement of the feminine energy. And I think there's a bit of a distortion in the perception of a Kundalini experience and how that can flesh itself out. The energy that is us. Okay, so we are all energy. Everything is energy. We are energy, and there's energy moving through us. We aren't solid. I mean, that's the perception, but that's not necessarily truly accurate. And if you see me nodding, this is my greater beingness, and as I am spoken to and through, then my body responds. So you might see me nod from time to time because I'm getting it and giving it. That's kind of how that works with me. So I perceive it as energy is in movement all the time, but the human habitually has a tendency to block the flow of energy based on belief. The belief is what hinders that movement. I believe that or I won't say believe, I know that energy is in motion all the time. And so there's this constant flow, incessant flow of electric and magnetic energy that is always in motion. And most of us, I would say, in the physical plane, are aligned with the movement of the masculine energy in dominance over the feminine energy. So the feminine energy, just like it is in society, I mean, like everything is everything. Everything is everything. Everything is mirrored in everything else, and so there's a suppression or a repression of the feminine energy in submission to the masculine energy. But that is something we are collectively working on to bring both of those into balance, into a state of aligned wholeness. And that's what oneness is, when those energies are balanced with through the human physical avatar. Okay, so the event that happens that most people experience is when those energies move, when that feminine energy is allowed to rise. And what is that feminine energy? Well, it's magnetism. It's the magnetic essence, the essence of you, your creativity, all that brings about your the senses, the sensuality, all of that. This is why a lot of people equate it with sex and an orgasmic experience, because it is the igniting of that that sexual energy, that flame, that fire that burns within. And so it's moving, it's desiring to move. And when it meets that masculine energy, well, that's what spurs creation. That's across all realms, not just in the physical body. That's how creation becomes. That's how things become manifest. You have the masculine and the feminine, they come together, and then there's this spark that's ignited, and that is creation itself. That is manifestation. We are the physical embodiment of that. The human vessel, the human avatar, is a physical embodiment of that movement that is always happening. So you can liken the movement of the Kundalini to an evolution of consciousness, because as it moves up through what people term the energy centers or the chakras, which I don't necessarily perceive anymore, but as that energy moves up, well, it's causing one to focus on different aspects that are seeking to be seen, resolved, and balanced in the body. And so as those things are balanced, as that energy moves itself up, and many people say it's called resting at the base of the spine, right? I perceive it as always trying to move, but it's always being suppressed and pushed down. And so it's not being allowed to move. But as it is allowed to move, does it come through those, it comes up the spinal column. You can perceive it as coming up the spinal column, but it moves up through the body. Basically, it's rising through and moving you into new elevated dimensions of self, ascended dimensions of self. So it's causing you to focus on those things that lie in distortion to the truth that is you. And so as it moves, are you forced to look at things? So as it moves through, let's say, the root of you, the base of you, that's connected to your survival. So it's going to force you to look at all those things that are related to survival. As it moves through the sacral chakra, it's going to force you to look at everything that's connected with your relationships and how you interact with others in the world and yourself. And then you get up to the solar plexus, and then that's forcing you to take a look at your personal power. Are you able to stand in your truth, knowing who you are and walking in that space, and then moving up into the heart, where balance takes place, because you got the electric energy coming from the heavens, so to speak, and then you got the magnetic coming up from the root of you, anchoring you in place. And so the center point of you is your heart space, the heart space. And so that's where you're seeking to bring those energies together into a state of balance. So we as humans are tasked, we as souls animating a physical form, are challenged with the task of bringing the masculine and the feminine into balance. But not only that, the divine essence and the form, the earth. Here's the
Froze up
thing.
on me.
I say bring it. I say bring into balance But that's kind of a misnomer, because really what I've discovered is it's a matter of surrendering and allowing the balance that already exists to take place. What happens is we get in the way with our beliefs, and so that hinders things, and we get so, the human collectively gets so wrapped up in doing that we basically think there's something that needs to be done to bring these things, to bring us into a state of wholeness, into a state of balance. And what I've discovered for myself is that really the ease and grace of it all is that it only requires your surrender, letting go of all the things that you think you need to do to allow the balance that already exists as the true essence of you to take its place in form. That's it. So essentially, Kundalini, from my perspective, is just a movement of energy. It's happening all the time. It's moving all the time. It's never not moving. It's just the human egoic identity gets in the way. And because we have free will, that the belief patterns, the thoughts, and all those things that we erect and manifest and govern our lives by repress or suppress the energy that is already in motion. So as you allow the body to balance itself, to rebalance itself, everything is seen anew, because you're purging as that energy moves up and through you, down and through you, as you bring everything into a state of balance, as it spirals itself down, up and down through you, bringing everything into balance, as you purge everything that is not true to the truth of who you are as a divine being in form. It's purged. It's literally burned away. And when those things come into balance, and you have that spark, just like conception takes place within the womb, like you are the womb of you, really, like the whole of you. And when those energies come into balance, well, it is like it's beyond it's beyond a sexual orgasm. That's how I perceive it. It's
I've
beyond any,
heard.
it's words don't even do it justice. But because we are so collectively so distorted, there's so many distortions that are placed on the experience of what they call a Kundalini awakening, just you waking up to the truth of who you are. Yeah. Question.
Wow. That's pretty deep. But it's very,
Okay.
it makes total sense, but it's just, it's the way you word it is just beautiful. I mean, because of the, I'm thinking of like a lightning strike, because my husband's into weather. So I'm thinking of this lightning strike. You have the electricity from above that has to meet the energies and whatnots from the bottom. And when that hits in the heart chakra, it ignites, and there you have lightning. So it's
Right.
kind of
So
like,
here's the thing.
yeah,
That's kind of that for me is now a distorted perspective, because the energy,
what
like
is
I
it?
said before, nothing is not in motion. Everything is always in motion. But there are things, just like you have rocks in water, right? The water
Uh-huh.
can't flow smoothly if there are rocks in the way. The rocks create distortions in the smooth flow of the water. It can create rapids, which are distortions, basically, to the
Okay.
flow of energy. Energy flows like water. It's like invisible water. The ether is everything, and it's all flowing. But if you have those distortions in place, it can't flow smoothly and create the necessary balance. So you have too much. You have too much of one current flowing, creating resistance. Basically, is the thing. You're creating too much resistance in place. So all you have to do is release, have the awareness, set your intentions to have the awareness to release those things that are not true to you. And as you unpack those, well, the balance balances yourself. Consciousness is smart enough to already know what it needs to do. All you have to do is take a step back and get out of the way, which is surrendering. It's the easiest thing in the world, surrendering. There is nothing that has to be done but surrender. As you choose to surrender and choose to see the truth of you, you can unpack those things that aren't true to you. And as you do, the body already knows what to do. You as a soul already know what to do. Consciousness, the divine essence that is the truth of you, already knows what to do. All you have to do is get that egoic identity out of the way, not kill it, because there are a lot of
You
people who
need
say
it.
you need to kill the ego. No, the ego serves its purpose just like everything else. It's a matter of bringing it into the proper perspective, proper alignment with the higher essence, the divine essence that is you, and surrendering to the will of the divine you and allowing that to take place. Therein does an awakening take place, where you bring you online. And so the default state, Abraham, Esther Hicks, Abraham used to
Yes.
say through Esther Hicks that the default state of being, the default state of the human is ecstasy, right? He would say that like the divine, the true default state is that orgasmic bliss state, right? That's where you return to when you bring things into balance. And so you always sit sit in a state of contention. It's like, you see, like you're content with the world. Everything is as it should be. Everything is as it is. There are no shoulds. I shouldn't even say should. Everything is simply as it is. And from that space of balance, you can see everything in its truth. You can sit in a place of neutrality and then move based on your choices, rather than your lower impulses. Like I want to say your more primal impulses. That's kind of how most people move by default, until you bring yourself back into a state of balance with the true essence of you. When you acknowledge fully and accept the true essence of you, which is the fact that you are a divine being, manifest in form. Yeah.
So, is this something, if you could fall out of alignment, or if is that even possible of falling back out of alignment and then having another?
I think that, well, that's what free will is. You can choose whatever you want, right? We live in a
True,
free
true.
will. We live in a free will state. So you get to choose how you want this thing to go. We are each we are each creating our life experience. That's what we're here to do, to manifest our life experience. So you have the choice, you have the ability to choose however you choose, however you want this thing to go. It's up to you. It's up to each of us to make those choices for ourselves. But there's an ease to this thing that I've discovered. It isn't so difficult as a lot of as we are sometimes made to believe, right? Or manipulated into believing. It's not so difficult. It's really quite simple, and it comes down to really making the choice to be honest with yourself, and really taking a look at the true essence of you. A lot of the things that we do by default aren't necessarily us, reflective of the true us. They are things that have been ingrained, things that we've seen and picked up as habits. And sometimes you get stuck in a habit and you perceive that habit, and that habit is being you, but that habit isn't you. It's a habit. It's a thing that you are conditioned into doing repeatedly. It's a loop, a pattern, but those can be broken as you make the choice to really connect with the true you. This is where meditation plays a great role in helping you come inward to connect more with the true you. And as you do it, it happens progressively in small bits, but as you do it, you begin to unpack those distorted perceptions of self. And by virtue of that alone, does everything, I won't even call it magic anymore because I used to call it magical, but it's not magic. It's quite simple. It's getting all of this stuff out of the way. Everything that is not authentic to you and authentically reflective of you. You're allowing everything to be purged so that balance can take place. Balance happens across the board in nature and everywhere. Nature seeks to balance itself always. Everything is seeking balance, and you are no exception. You are seeking balance. The consciousness that is you, that is moving through you, the soul essence that is animating, permeating, and enfolding the physical form that is you, is balancing you as you allow it. As you allow it. That's what free will is. We have the ability to step in the way or step back and allow the balance to take place. But from my perspective, balance is. There's nothing that needs to be done action-wise except surrender. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I'm just on it sounds so easy when you're in. It sounds so easy, and I get it, and I don't know, maybe I'm just not, I'm obviously not in the level that you are, but it is so easy and yet it's so difficult for
Yeah.
the lower.
Because a
I
lot
mean,
of
it's
yeah.
I get
What
it.
so
I get
what's the difficulty from your perspective? What do you perceive as the difficulty?
the difficulty for me, I think, is just letting go, not necessarily letting go of what doesn't serve me right now, but it's like the finances. You
Mm.
still need the finances to pay your bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is my biggest holdback that I feel.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I am so ready. I am so there. I have so much in my sight right now. And I think that would be my biggest block.
Mm. Yeah. So I think sometimes we have these perceptions of the things that we need to do based on how we've been conditioned by society to operate. But I will say it's not an easy task. Everybody is not built to just rip the band-aid and go, because that's kind of how I did the thing. But what do I want to say? As you take small steps, I think it's progressive. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a all in one go. I do this or that. You can make subtle changes, small changes that can move you in the direction that you desire to go. So while you may be here doing this corporate corporate job, for instance, you might be in a corporate space doing that thing and wanting to move out. Well, you make small steps toward um, embodying the true essence of you. And I think as you do that, your resonance changes in the process of doing that. So here's the thing: as you align more with the truth of you, your resonance begins to change. And so the things that you once attracted to yourself, drew into your experience, will shift. And you'll begin to attract those new things that align more with your trajectory now and where you are moving towards. You'll be met in the moment with the things that are needed to keep you moving in the direction that you are choosing to go. But you have to be intentional about your choices. So that means being fully present in the moment and having this is a thing you have to kind of practice yourself into, because it's not something that comes right away. But that trust, and you're trusting yourself. You're trusting that as you settle within the now, and stop worrying about the past and the future. But as you settle within the now, you realize that the choices you make now, the highest choice you can make now will put you on the path to what you desire to embody, right? So you bring in all of you into the present moment, and you are choosing from this space, not worrying about anything else. And in that space, do you create the type of resonance that you want to carry to bring those things into manifestation? Because by virtue of making the highest choice in the now, are you making the choice that will put you that will create the future that you are desiring to create for yourself, right? So a lot of times you think you know what that future is supposed to look like, so you have a tendency, a lot of us do, get caught up in trying to work toward that vision of the future that we've erected in the mind, right? But when you align with the truth, the true essence of you, what you come to understand is that this creation is infinite possibility. And so by creating a vision of the future, are you putting a limit on infinite possibility? But if I can stay grounded in the present moment and make the highest choice that I can possibly make within the now, I can create a future that I can't even conceive of. It would be so great that I don't even want to conceive of it, because I don't even want to put a limit on what is possible for this now version of me to walk into in the future. So I'm just going to settle here within the present moment, make the highest choice I possibly can within the now, trusting that as I do that, the future will take care of itself. I'll walk into the highest thing I could possibly walk into, because I'm making the highest choice that I can make from the awareness I hold within this moment. And from that place, has your resonance shifted, because you aren't focused on the past, you aren't worried about the future, you just fully, all of you is embodied here in the present moment, choosing from that space. You create the resonance to walk you into what you desire, and even more, walk you into how you want the future to feel. You don't even have to know what that looks like. You just know you want it to feel fantastic. You want it to feel like ecstasy. You want it to feel like bliss. And you're just going to make the highest choice you can from the present moment to walk yourself into that. So we can't get worried. We can't worry about things. You just have to make the highest choice you can from where you are now.
Now. So making my highest choice for the now, and just putting the intention out there of saying, I want the best for my greatest good to come about.
You want to. So here is another thing. So I'm going to critique all of these things, because I feel like we hang ourselves up on the verbiage that we choose, right? So if you're always seeing something as good, bad, highest good, bad, well, that's still separate. Like, that's still a dualistic mindset, and the goal is to bring us into a state of wholeness, a state of oneness, right? So from that perspective, all you have to do is say, I desire to live my truth. I desire to live as the true essence of me, my most authentic, soul-aligned self. I want to bring the fullness of the divine essence of me and anchor it into form. I want to be truly me. I want to master the art of being me. To the fullest capacity that I can hold, right? That is your intention. And let everything else go. You don't even have to know what it's supposed to look like, because you don't have a precedent for being you to the fullest extent possible. There is no precedent for that. That's why it's unknown. That's why a lot of people fear it. That's why there's so much fear around this thing, is because you don't know. We haven't lived the fullest essence of us in most cases. Most people haven't lived authentically as themselves, and this fear of doing so, but because there's a fear of what will be lost. What will be lost? What will people think? Where will I be? What will that look like? Well, you don't know, right?
Right.
But you have to
Right.
have that trust that as I'm living the fullness of me, that I will be met with whatever is needed for the moment. Whatever is needed for the moment will come. If it's divinely aligned, soul aligned, in alignment with the truth of who I am, then I will be provided with what is needed to move me into that space. That's become my mindset. That's become the mindset. It's not about acquiring these things. It's not about architecting these things to look to fulfill a future as I've envisioned a future. I don't even project and envision a future anymore. I just know that it will be aligned with the highest version that I am able to hold within the moment as I am making the highest choice I can from the present moment.
Something to work on for me.
Yeah. It's a
Okay.
process. I think it's a process for all of us, right?
Right, right. And I feel like now I need to change my mantra a little bit and add some more of what you're saying is to direct me to being me as me is at this present moment.
Yeah. I desire to I welcome the embodiment of the highest essence of me that I am able to hold within this physical form. I desire to embody the fullness of us. The fullness of us. I really can't call it a me anymore because it's us, and you're bringing all the multidimensionality of you into form. So I'm here to embody the fullness of us to the degree that we can when in any given moment. So that's steadily evolving, right? Because each day as you make choices, each day as you shift, each day as you live more and more of the fullness of you, are you expanding, and so you're bringing more and more of that divinity, the divine essence of you into form to be emanated out into the physical. And so by virtue of that, are you impacting the field itself by virtue of your authentic divine essence, the presence of you. You are serving as an instrument of the divine within form, right?
Yes, yes. Another step in my learnings. Yay. Yay. Yeah. I mean, it's so much for me to learn and to take these little steps. And I am working on those little steps of moving in to a different um, mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on it. I'm still human and I'm still human. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah,
I'm working on it. And I think this here is going to even help me out even more. So, yes, I appreciate it. This is fantastic information on how to move forward and to bring
yeah,
not
yeah.
really even
Just
a con.
trusting you, learning to
Yeah,
trust you.
yeah. So
It's
it's not
surrendering
even
to you.
surrendering. And it's going through me right now that it's not even like a Kundalini. It's just being you. It's more of just
Yeah,
surrendering and being
right.
you. There's no
That's
Kundalini anymore.
yeah. I mean, well, people perceive it that way, and I won't say if there's not one, but there are people for whom that serves, right?
Yeah.
Everything serves its purpose, right? Everything has its place, everything serves its purpose, and you can choose to bring yourself back into awareness of the truth of you by any path you choose. And I think the perception of the Kundalini and that experience and all of that is a perception. It's one of those things we can use, one of those tools we can use to awaken the self, if we choose. But there, for me, there came a point where I moved beyond that perspective. And for me, I realized it's not as complicated as we've been as we've been conditioned to believe it. Oh, or I'll say, I'm speaking for myself. It's not as difficult as I once thought it was. You get all these things about the energy centers. You got to balance this chakra and this chakra and this chakra. I don't even perceive chakras anymore because it's all frequency. We are the embodiment. We like a pillar of light on this planet, anchoring frequency, and everything is always in motion. Everything. There's nothing that's stagnant, but we try to make it stagnant. There's nothing that's stagnant. Everything is always in motion. So everything is energy, always in flow. So we are ever evolving. So that what people term the Kundalini, which is really the feminine energy, resting at the base of the spine. That's because it's been suppressed and dominated to maintain that position, or they try to the masculine has tried to push that down. But as you come into awareness of the true essence of you, you remove the restrictions on being, and you allow yourself to step into a place of simply existing as the fullness of who and what you are. You begin to radiate that, live that in full embodiment on this on this planet. So what I'm saying is, it's not so complex. It's really super simple, but people fear simple because there's this mindset, this human mindset attached to the logical mind, the analytical mind, that there should be more. There should be, it should be more complicated. There should be some specific steps. And here's the thing about that. This surrendering won't look the same from person to person. It's unique to you, and that's a like a blessing and a curse type of thing, right? Because somebody who's looking for specific steps, they'll get disheartened and what do I want to say? They'll be disappointed because they'll do something that somebody else is doing expecting to have the same results, and you want to achieve the same results because you're not the same person. You're operating at two different frequencies. You're two different people operating from two different perspectives. So this is where learning to trust the self comes into play, because the way that I do it, it won't be the same as the way that you do it. But there are some things in the way that I tell my story that can spark that awareness within you, that can give you the impetus to go within and say, oh, well, she spoke to this. It expands my awareness of possibility. So how can we live this within ourselves? That type of thing. So that's where I think the listening to somebody else's story comes into play. But beyond that, it's not going to look like anybody else's journey. It's going to be unique to you. How that fleshes out for you, the things that you need, the keys that you need to unlock your own awareness, they are going to be specific to you. There may be some similarities with somebody else, but it will not be the exact same. So you can't say, well, they did it this way, I'm going to do it this way. Well, that worked for them. It may or may not work for you in the same way. So you have to be willing to go within yourself. This is where knowing thyself comes into play. This is why knowing thyself is so critical, because if you don't, you won't get very far. You'll get only so far, and then it's like you reach the plateau, and it's like, what the heck do I do now, right? I don't know where to go now. Then that's when the real surrendering comes into play. We got to surrender a little bit deeper into you. Yeah.
Wow. Very, very awesome. Very awesome.
Nice.
New perspective for me.
Nice.
New things. And like you're saying, it's like I know I try different things, that people have mentioned to me. It's like, oh, okay, I'll try this, see how that works, and I'll try this and see how that works. And I've just recently started trying something new for myself with a combination of Reiki and um, um, meditation with the chakras.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be doing some crazy stuff with me, and it's been great. Um, so yeah, just putting those pieces together to see what works for you. So like building your
Right.
own puzzle with
Right.
what other
You
people are giving you.
Yeah, you're building your own toolbox. So one of the great questions you can ask, one of the great questions, I'm getting this right now. One of the great questions you can ask, and really has become my one of my go-tos is, what's my way? Like, I see
My
they
way.
did this thing and I see they had their result, but what is my way? What is our way of bringing this thing about within our experience? Like, how do we do it? Like, I saw what they did. I accept and acknowledge that that's a possibility. Moving into that state of being is a possibility, but how do I embody that or manifest that within this avatar? How do we as a soul bring that about within this avatar, so that we can live that in realized form in the earth? So yeah, that's a good question to ask yourself. What's my way? Because
That's our
because
way. Okay.
everybody's way won't work for you, right? Everything won't
Right.
work for everybody. You have to discover your way. And I think that speaks to what we're here to do. We're here to embody the fullness of us. We all aren't the same. the
Right.
the creation is seeking to know itself from many infinite perspectives, and you are one of those. I'm one of those, right?
Right.
But
Right.
we're sitting here so that the creation can see all that it might become from our unique vantage point. Your unique vantage point. So you got to get aligned as closely as possible with you, the uniqueness that is you. Understanding that this is just a this is just a perspective of the unified wholeness. We're all one, but from this perspective, you get this. From this vantage point, you get this unique perspective of life. You create these specific or unique things from this focal point, right? Something else is going to be created from your vantage point, so that the creation itself can see all that it might become, the infiniteness that it might become. It might experience all the things from all the vantage points so that it can know what it might become.
So going back to a puzzle, I've got this going in my head. So I am pulling pieces, bits and pieces of everybody else to make my whole, to make being, our being. And so once our being has reached point to where we are manifesting and having that greatness going on, then our piece will go into the puzzle of a fuller picture. So we're grabbing pieces of these other puzzles. Is that making sense?
So, anyway,
Making this more difficult, aren't I? So
okay.
I'm reaching pieces from other people to figure out how to bring my whole and us as a being in this avatar to the greatest of us. And once we're all together and making the greatest of us, we are yet another piece of the bigger puzzle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So it's like an incessant feedback loop. It's the torus field. What you're talking about is like the torus field. So it's like, you are receiving, but you are also radiating. You're receiving and
Yes.
radiating. It's like an incessant breath. So as you breathe out experience, that is going into the field, which is permeating the oneness. And as you, as everybody does that, have we learned different things through experience, and so then we're getting that back in and having new experiences through the incessant feedback loop. We're inhaling the all the goodies of the oneness, the unified field, and we're radiating a new experience, and that's permeating the field, and it just keeps going. The cycle keeps going and going and going. By virtue of that, do we continue to expand? So it's like we are feeding the system, like we are part of the system, yet we are the system. Like we're part of
Yes.
the system and we're the system. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm seeing is like I'm grabbing bits from other people to make me, which is making me a piece of the earth, which is the earth is making a piece of the universe, and the universe is making a piece of the outside of that. It's just like one little puzzle piece is building and putting in another piece of a, a bigger puzzle. I hope that
Right,
makes
but it's
sense, but
all
it makes
things.
sense to me
It's
right
it's
now.
yeah. It's not just people though. It's all things. It's
All
everything that
things.
exists within your environment. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're each projecting our realities, right? We're each projecting our own reality, so we're getting that incessant feedback loop. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool. No, this is great. This is great. I love it. I love that the new perspective of all of this. It's great to see the differences because here I had this picture of the Kundalini of setting things straight in a line. But yeah, it's everything around us that's just blending to make this beautiful punch. I'm going to throw that out. Like a punch bowl, not even a
Yeah.
punch bowl
It's
because it's going outside the punch bowl. You're filling up the punch bowl and it's just flowing. It's just so much, it's overflowing, just going and going
right.
and yeah. That's what I'm
So
seeing right now. It's
it's
just
yeah. It's an evolutionary journey. You're on an evolutionary journey, and the challenge is breaking the loops and patterns. You get stuck into loops and patterns, doing the same thing habitually over time, and you're not connected with the true essence of you because being in the now, the true essence of you, like I said before, it doesn't have a precedent, right?
right,
Because you're ever
right.
evolving. In each moment are you new. Whether you choose to acknowledge it or not, you are new from moment to moment. Every moment is a new moment. There are no repeated moments, which by virtue of that makes you new every moment. So you can choose from the present state, the now version of you. You're choosing within this particular moment, and that in itself is moving you toward the highest potential you might be able to realize through your form. But if you get hung up thinking about the past, holding yourself, attaching to the past, it's like holding you back. It's like throwing back anchors and holding on to stuff in the past, right? You
Right.
can't really move forward. And if you're worried about the future, well, that's fear. So you're setting yourself up to resonantly align with what you do not want, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Very awesome. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Oh, wow. That I just have all kinds of stuff going on in my head. Just I'm swirling with information right now.
Well, take a breath. Take a breath. Like that's one of the best things you can do is take a breath, and not just these little shallow breaths, right? I'm talking about like a 30-second inhale. Like you bring in all of the air, you're expanding the fullness of you all the way down to your diaphragm. You're bringing everything in slowly, and allowing that to sit. And when you get yourself as full as you can inhale, when you can't bring in any more air, pause and hold your breath for a moment, and then purse your lips just a little bit and exhale equally as slow. It slows you down. It brings you inward. It settles you. It settles the energy. It settles all of that that distorted energy, that erratic energy, and it kind of calm. It creates a calming effect in you, where you have the opportunity to connect more with yourself.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Nice.
So there you go, everyone. Take a deep breath.
Right. Make that a practice every morning.
Yes.
Some breath,
Take a deep
morning breath
breath.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. And then focus on being you,
Yeah.
being being the us that we are at this moment.
Right. Have the courage to be you. Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Nice.
Yes. Wow. Lots of information. Thank you so much for being on the show. This has been
Oh, absolutely.
fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, oh, thank you. So, well, again, thank you so much. And I hope everybody out there has picked up on some of this as I have. I mean, I have more steps and more information that I could try to bring into my being and our being so that we can be the best that we can be. And I am excited. I am excited to see where this brings me.
Nice. Thank you for having me on. And before I want to go, I wanted to share my website or my link tree. You can connect with me on Linktree. All my links are there to social media, YouTube, and all of those things. But it's Linktree/ Andena Melchizedek, spelled exactly like you see it on screen, all one word. And that's how you can reach out to me. So I'm on all the social media sites, including Telegram. So I have a video series out on Telegram. And if you want to experience a little bit of what I do in terms of like the language of light transmissions, you can definitely check those out on YouTube and Telegram. So yeah,
Yeah, and we'll post all that in the notes below. So
nice.
you'll have that. So excellent, excellent. So if anyone out there has any stories you would like to share of your experiences with the paranormal or supernatural, absolutely contact me at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And don't forget to click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And we will see you at the ranch in Loveland, Colorado in June, on June 14th and 15th, to get your own card and photo reads. And we will talk with you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.